reason why I've started here today is because down here in the past, when I was small anyway, in the late 1980s, it was all block flats. And these steps here, including this little wall here, belongs to the old concrete. Follow me, we're going into Mapperley Park. So, here we are then, beautiful evening, here at the top of Mapperley. This once was quite a popular route for the tram system that used to come up here and end near the previous Porchester pub on the top of Porchester Road. We're going to go through, we're going to go through Mapperley Park today. I'm just going to show you a few little houses and going to give you a bit of information about the area in general. We're cutting through a part of Nottingham which reminds me of Neighbours, the Australian programme. Really does. But we're just cutting through here anyway. Beautiful trees there in the background, look at that. Most buildings around here were built in the late 1800s, including this beautiful house here. And we're going down now towards the old Mapperley Park, where there used to be actually some mills right at the bottom near what's now Rock Cemetery. Follow me. Well, we'll continue along Forest Road. Did you know there's two parts to this road? There's Forest Road West and Forest Road East. Anyway, nice old houses along here with the style of Nottingham orange brick. Mostly these houses from Victorian times. And in fact, I don't know if we've got time for it today or not, but if we go through the Arboretum Park being one of the largest and oldest parks actually, to do with different tree styles. There's the old Marlborough Hall behind there, beautiful building, now flats. There's a lovely house coming along here on the right hand side. Used to be a doctor's surgery, but here there was a police office originally. It's called Morven House. It's very picturesque. To be honest, I used to think it was haunted, and I still think it is a bit haunted. That house behind me, even more pretty, even more enchanted. So yeah, we're coming through here. I'm gonna show you on the left hand side also an old, what looks like an old archway. Anyone know what that could have been? It's right near where the Elm School is. Just going to show you a little thing here. It's padlocked, obviously. But there on the other side of there is the Elm School, which is abandoned, by the way. You can see that quite well if you zoom in. But on this field, I want to talk about this field, because when I was a child, I went to St. Augustine's School, which was just up the road here. And we used to come on this field, and I can still remember doing wheelbarrow racing, out of all things, on this field. And we used to come here in the summertime, and St. Augustine's used the field as well as did the Elm School. I just thought I'd show you that before we carry on down here, okay? And we're going to go now towards Church Cemetery, and I believe there's a few little things there on the way that I'm going to show you today. Come and have a look. This is the old Elms Fields. We've got a few significant things to show you here. Apart from the beautiful houses that people don't really notice if they don't look at them, this church obviously was part of the old Rock Cemetery. Now, if anyone didn't know, there was quite a few windmills in the past here, wooden structures, and they began where the rock cemetery entrance begins, and then the cemetery was basically built on top of it. We also have in the cemetery a few caves, and not only do we have caves, but we have a few little bits and bobs that I want to show you, so come along. I also want to let you all know that this is one of many cycle routes I'm going to be taking. And just here on the left hand side, the last house here on the left hand side was part of where the first mill was, and there was like a lodge here with a house right next to it. Now we can't see much of the old house anymore, but apparently under here we have excavations and tunnels, and you can still see on that side a little turret. Don't know if you can see that, it's quite dark here. Let's try and get a bit closer. But this is St Andrew's Church, what used to belong to the cemetery, and I've just seen that the cemetery is now closed, so we will have to come back. But if you see there, a little tower, that was part of the old mill, and then all the mills stretched from that entrance across there. And I'm going to show you a few more little things today. So I'm going to come to the cemetery on another little video of mine. But before we get to the cemetery, I want to show you some little entrance here on the right hand side that people tell me is a cave entrance, but it's not. Come and have a look and I'll show you. So, here we have it. This entrance here, which people keep telling me is for caves, it's not for caves. This is actually one of the old entrances to the air raid shelters for the war. Because in there, inside the cemetery, there's also caves, which we will come and have a look on a different day. Now, the caves under there are actually the same cave network that goes under Peel Street and eventually to the cave. And, to the castle. And, them caves go across and underneath Peel Street near the Arboretum and come out here. Now, whether there is any tunnel that would have linked that to here, quite possibly. But I'm showing you this today because this hole is nothing to do with a cave. This hole goes directly to the underground tunnel, which runs all the way underneath Mansfield Road to where the old station was of Carrington Station. So if you can imagine, under here, all this under here is how you would have got there. You would have got there by going down here and going in the air raid shelters here. So I just wanted to show you that. Next stop, a peculiar cafe on the left hand side at the top of the forest wreck. There we go in all its splendour. The old Forest Recreation Lodge, built in 1867 by Mr. Wood, and it was served as a police lodge as well as a keeper's lodge, and it was also the main lodge for the race courses. If you didn't know, the Forest Recreation Ground was where it all began. What you see now in Collick Park with the races, it was all down here, and these are the main gates. And this house, as I say, now I believe a cafe. Very beautiful architecture, and it was used for one of the main lodges for the race courses. Let's have a little look closer to it. So we're going to go down here now, adjacent to Rock Cemetery, which is right behind that wall over there. In fact, we're going to show you just a little bit, because we will come back to Rock Cemetery, because I want to come here anyway. But you might be able to see, if you look through here, you might just be able to capture behind there one of many little culverts I want to show you here. We're going to go in a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. Just behind there, there's a little, just to that side there, we've got a little cave. Anyway, I just wanted to show you so you know for future reference. We're going to carry on then down on the race side, which is the recreation ground where the races used to be. Now served as a park and ride, as well as Goose Fair site is there now, which used to be obviously in the square until it was moved there. We do have a bit of foundations to this house, with apparently a very good like little cellar under there. So under here, no surprise then that we've got the caves and rocks over there and tunnels, because all of this here would have been all to do with the sandstone until here, until this big dip. I tried to look to see if there was any history, maybe that big dip was some kind of a pit, but no, it was carved out for the big races in Nottingham, the horse races. So I'm going to leave this behind here now, and we're going to head towards a monument which is an obelisk, and it was put there in memory of the Boer War with South Africa. Come along, here we go. This is Midlandz Explorer. Today, in the Forest Road, and towards Radford. Stretches quite far, the cemetery, all the way back onto Forest Road West. Now, we've got some really old steps here. Not a lot of people know about this. These were here part of the walkway up from the main stand. So the main stand would have been down here where these houses are. This was the main stand of the races, yeah? And these stairs were pretty old, and they're still here. And these were old steps that came from the original races. Let's walk through history. So it says, crowned at the top by about 20 windmills. Right, this is what I was talking to you about earlier. We have some history here of the windmills that used to be here, and they stretched all the way from the bottom of Forest Road all the way through here. They were taken away when they built the cemetery. Says here, a long furzy common, crowned at the top by about 20 windmills and descended in a steep slope, to a fine level, round which the race course runs. So, these stairs, again, as I said, would have come down all the way from up here, all the way down, across, down to the old entrances of the race courses. So a bit of history for you there. And as I say, there used to be some windmills here. Not too far from here, guys, there was a sandfield known as the Lings of the Forest. It's quite well known, the Lings. And for many years, by the way, I don't know if it's still the same, but it was 124 acres. It might be less now with the car park over there. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, there's a forest academy here where you can play football 5-a-side. But irrelevant to that, I was going to tell you that this obviously used for recreation, public walks and burial grounds because of the cemetery being there. Yeah, it was part of the medieval forest. So part of the medieval forest of Sherwood. So Sherwood Forest obviously stretched all the way along here. I can see here there's a tree here. That's what this tree was crowned from an acorn from Windsor Great Park and planted by Edwin Patchett. There's a few bits and bobs here, as I say. That is now a community garden for people to come and put plants and that and grow them. It's not a allotment, just a community garden where people, I think it's mainly volunteers, they come and join in. Right, I'm going to head now towards what is, as it's getting a bit late anyway, this is just a little mini blog I've done. Maybe I'll add it to something else, or maybe I won't, maybe I'll leave it as this little blog for you all. But alongside there is something I want to show you of the cemetery before we head to the obelisk. Can you see that little turret over there? That was from one of the old windmills of Nottingham, and that's what's left of it. And that's on Forest Road. So we're heading now towards Radford. But today, it's going to show you a few little more houses on the way. And then it's from me, goodbye. Oh yeah, one last thing. I forgot, the memorial. Let's go and have a look at that. So I want to just thank everybody for coming today. We're finishing here at this memorial. Now, you could say a memorial is not very important or whatever. Maybe, but it's part of history. Now, the last obelisk I saw was actually, I believe, was in Paris. There's one in Place de la Concorde, and that was brought over from Egypt. Now, this wasn't brought from Egypt. This is just a memorial monument. But what this entitles us, and what this tells us is, just like the pagoda with the cannons in the Arboretum Park, that statue was dedicated after the Crimea War, right? This statue, this memorial, was placed here in the memory of the Boer War with South Africa. And that's all we got time for today, and I wanted to finish us here today. And I'm going soon to find some what look like them, but they're not. And what they are is little mounts on top of hills. And there's one in the Peak District that I'm going to see soon. But anyway, we finish this off here today. I thank everybody for listening and looking at my little blog, just checking my bike there. And as I say, this is the Forest Wreck, which used to be the race courses. And next time when you come with me, we're heading more deeper into Radford. Please subscribe. Please comment, like, share. Let us know what you think. Until next time. Ciao, ciao.